Well, good morning, everybody. It's Jeff Fitzpatrick. It is Monday, the 23rd of June, 2025, and this is my weekly video log. And there's some really good stuff in it this week, if I say so myself. So, to remind you, what we do is sell puts and we also buy high quality, great value stocks that use low buying power and have great income creating potential. So as usual, we're going to take a look at the market. Got some stock picks for you this week, and we'll see what I'm doing with the clubs and with the methods of trading. And first, the market. So the S&P was down slightly over the last week, but we're still in that upward trend, and we're still very, very close to the all-time record high. Of course, I would like it to get back to the all-time high for the end of the month. So that's when I'm going to be looking at how the clubs have performed after 1 year of the new trading system. But on the other hand, I don't mind if the market goes down a little because it's always good to have some entry opportunities. So the clubs. I am still on with my continuous improvement. I'm determined to get this to be as good as I possibly can. And at present, I'm making changes every week. This week's changes are I've introduced some red flags. Now, the TICN 4x4 system has red flags in, but usually they seem to get ignored. Um, I'm also putting in a banned list. There's certain countries that I don't like to have stock in. Russia, China, Israel at present, I'm afraid, for example. There are also certain sectors and certain industries, and so that's coming in. I'm also confirming, really, the policy of going for gain, not green. This was something introduced to me by Anna Rodriguez. And basically, what it is saying that rather than stay in a stock and dilute it and everything else to get it into a positive position, if we can get a greater value to the total account by taking that stock out and replacing it with something that's more profitable, hey, that's what we will do. I've always been wondering about industry rank because 50% of a stock's price is down to the industry and sector that it's in as much as the company's performance. I was never really happy with the value line rankings that were going up and down every week. And I was also not pleased with them because the way they worked out, you could have a very small sector with one company doing really badly and it would pull the whole sector down. So I'm now moving across to the Zacks industry rankings. We'll see why. Now, although this data is old, it goes back to 2017, the message from it is very, very clear. It's measuring the performance of the top 50% ranked industries versus the S&P and also the bottom ranked 50% industries. And there's no question that the Zacks ranked top 50% does a whole lot better, twice as well as the S&P 500. Why wouldn't you use it if you have access to it? I'm also considering using sectors, and this is why. So again, the information is a little bit old, goes back to 2017, but Zacks have 16 industry sectors. And what this chart is doing, it's combining the stocks in the top 8 sectors with all being Zacks number 1 ranked as businesses. So it filters out, let's only take the stocks that are in the top sectors, and then let's only take the best stocks within those. Look at this. Even the bottom 50% doing that does more than twice as well as the S&P 500. What's not to like? Just for your information, these are the current top 8 sectors, and it's quite interesting when you break it down. So aerospace, for example, when I actually took that down to individual sectors, or companies, but there are actually subsectors within the aerospace industry and the rest of them. And it came down to aviation electronics. That's where the good stuff was by far. So we've got a lot more information to our fingertips now, and I'll be using this each week to check where we're at. Now, they're just some of the latest changes that I've made to how I trade, particularly over the last 12 months, and I've been documenting them. And as part of the training that I'm providing, I've got a section which is going through what these are. But here's a quick preview for you. Whoa, there's the first 16. You can look at them randomly. What I advise is that you stop the video, pause it, and have a read through these. And if you've got questions, by all means, send them to me. Here is the second page. Again, pause it, have a look, have a read through them. And here are the last batch. And I've got no doubt that I will be adding to this as we go forward. But one thing is very, very clear. After 12 months, and remember, not all of these have been in position for 12 months. Some have been in for 12 months, some even a bit more than 12 months. Some have only come in the last week or so. However, the outcome for the last 12 months is to more than double the gains that the S&P 500 has made by using these techniques. Perhaps you should join my online course. It's still available, and I'll talk about that a bit later, so get ready for more details. So this week's picks. Now, I was a bit concerned that having so many filters, I would actually take everything out. There'd be nothing left. If you look for perfect, then you won't actually get any picks. But that hasn't actually been the case. This is what I'm currently doing. These three columns here that make up my assessment. A stock's got to go through quite a lot before I'll get as far as this. Main thing is I've got to like the stock and its indicators. Got to like the charts, and it's got to get up there with a score on TIC and timeliness of 1, 2, or 3, and ZAX 1, 2, or 3, and it's also got to have financial standing of at least B plus. And if we can get through all of that lot, then I'll take it to this stage. So I'm looking at you've got here the price at the time of assessment. So as a week goes on, I can see how that's changing. You've got the PE ratio. That's one of my new red flags. I'm using 25 as being my limit. I've got the earnings announcement date in, and I'm not putting a red flag on that. So that can actually, if the charts are good enough, I'll jump over one. Otherwise, I run out of trades because we're now getting very close to earnings periods. ZAX, again, I'm looking now at the industry in there, value line, as well as the ones I've mentioned. I'm going for the total 3-year return percentage. And mainly, I just want that to be positive. This is ALSN, their make transmission. And you can see that the total return to shareholders on this stock over the last 3 years has been 156.3%. What that means is it's a combination of the increase in the stock value and dividends paid. It's given over 3 years that level of return. So I like that. I'm using the earnings predictability, and I'm looking at the comments in Value Line. I'm using Better Investing. I can now very quickly see I want upward trending sales and upward trending earnings, and I also want some headroom between the current price and the annual high over the last 12 months. Then I go off to the trading platform. I'm looking at the right strike prices. I'm checking the premiums. And eventually I'm ending up at the annualized return on investment. And that is a huge thing for me. And I'm looking for that to be over 100%. And that's another of my red flags. At present, and so more may come into the frame this week when the market opens and if some prices turn around. But at the moment, I'm going with ALSN, which you just saw, August, $24 strike price, and that's got 107.65% annual return on investment. That is using the premium divided by the amount of stock buying power that the trade will use. My second pick, which is probably actually my first pick, is PayPal. And that's the August again, $70 strike price, and it's got 155% annual return on investment. Now, I just want to emphasize these are my picks. These are what I'm going to be doing. I'm not advising anybody else to do these things. I'm telling you basically what the clubs are going to be doing. And therefore, you should take direct responsibility for your own trading. That was a government wealth warning. You can join the course that I mentioned. It's still actually live. It's a 10-week course. I think we've got 2 weeks left to go on the live sessions. They're on Thursdays, 3 p.m. UK and 6:30 p.m. UK. And everything then goes into the online version. There's a recording of the session, and there's quite a few extras in there, including some videos. There are templates to download for spreadsheets and so on. The course covers everything, exactly how I find my stocks, how we are beating the world's best traders. You get permanent access to these recordings, and the cost is just £250. Thursdays, 3 o'clock and 6:30. If you move your tail now, you could be there this Thursday. There is a course WhatsApp group where the members can talk to each other and ask questions, ask me questions. I'd like the questions to go in there so that all members see the answers. If you want to join, go to myinvestmentclub.co.uk. There's a button on the homepage, follow that. What I've also put in there is access to the first week's recording, so you can see what it's like and how it works, and if you actually want to join us or not. I've now got over 90 people in the Facebook group, the Extraordinary Stock Trading System. If you want to join that, you'd be very welcome. More the merrier. And if you're not already in one of the clubs that I support, then again, myinvestmentclub.co.uk is the place. You can find out what clubs are available, how they're doing. You can contact me through there, and I'll put you in touch with the members. They'll answer any questions. You can speak to any or all of them, and you can also ask me anything you want. You don't have to put a fortune in. Some people just put £100 a month in. Some people don't put money in every month. Others put lump sums in. 100,000 plus is not that unusual. So myinvestmentclub.co.uk if you're interested. I have two types of clubs. I've got Capital Growth. They're the Diamond, Fortune, Tees, Sapphire, and 100th Millionaire clubs. And I've got two income clubs plus Capital Growth. The idea on those is that we go for 15% annual growth of capital and pay out an income over and above that. And if you want advice or to ask questions about which one to join, that's great. Just let me have them, no problem. And that's it for this week. I hope you have a good week. We're coming to that very close to that end of the year. So next week I will be in a position just about to put the final results in for the end of the year. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm quite excited. Thanks for listening. Cheerio.